Do you like hearing our voices, but also want to see the faces that are attached to those voice boxes and larynxes and other vocal cord areas that provide you this sound, everything that goes with it? You got to see our Twitch at twitch.com/DayDreamerMedia. That's where we're doing this live, the podcast, which, as it happens, starts right now.
Welcome into the Fantasy Daydreamers podcast. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that follow, like, subscribe button wherever you are listening to this, because it would really help us grow. I am JJ. You guys can follow me at JJ Daydreamers on Twitter. With me, I got Keone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody of all denominations. Speaking of things that are growing, the Twitter sphere, technically it's getting smaller, but my Twitterness is getting bigger in terms of amount of tweets and characters and all that good jazz. And the only place, the singular place in this universe, in other universes it might be multiple, but in this universe that we live in currently, it's at Daydreamer Keone.
And Ryan is here.
And he's muted.
I'm Ryan Williams, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at ROKKO Rocco Daydreamer.
Yeah, Ryan is muted right now, and so if he is unaware of that, he needs to fix it.
All right, let's talk about let's play a little game. Is it coach talk?
Oh,
so the Kansas City running back room, Andy Reid said that they are working through trying to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire touches after he played on only 4 snaps.
Oh,
Andy Reid noted that it was circumstances of the game, not a strategy change.
bullshit.
And I want to know, is this coach talk or is this real?
Yeah, I mean, it's Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon, but probably more likely Isaiah Pacheco, who is now the lead back on that team. And granted, Clyde Edwards-Helaire might get a few touches. He will be involved in the game script, I'm sure.
Still got 2 targets on those 4 snaps.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know. It's just I think it's moved on from Edwards-Helaire. It's been a long time coming, and now it's just finally coming to fruition. So that is coach speak.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is coach speak, and yeah, it's going to be Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the running back, Jerick McKinnon the passing downs back, with Pacheco getting first looks at most things. But it will be a committee here still.
Sure.
And
just actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not getting the ball, then that clearly means that he would be used if Andy Reid wanted to use him. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Should we give Ryan a minute to see if he can answer?
I think this is the real game show. This is the game show within a game show.
Does Ryan or is Ryan on mute?
It's looking promising, folks, that we might not be able to hear him.
Oh, sorry, guys. Here, Ryan Williams here. I do think it's coach speak, because as I would say, you got to give the guy you believe in the ball. So I'm Ryan Williams, ROKKO Rocco. Follow me.
All right, let's get into the news. So Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy is day to day.
Hello.
What is up, Ryan?
Ryan's here. Oh my goodness.
All right, we're talking about Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy is day to day with a minor ankle injury. Yeah,
This offense is bad.
Yep. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert suffered a shoulder injury in their loss on Monday night and was placed on IR.
Those dirty, rotten, cheating scoundrels that are the Washingtons pulling face masks. Oh, it was a bad face mask, but also just nail biting that fumble, because it made the game between JJ and I very close. But also you hate to see this.
Yeah.
Great tight end and out like minimum 4 weeks. So it's just
One
awful.
of the few tight ends you could count on for fantasy. So.
Mm-hmm.
Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp is dealing with a high ankle sprain and is going on IR. Was officially placed on IR on Wednesday.
Okay, I have a question, and it's also something that I think my dad asked me as well, and I wasn't sure. Is a high ankle sprain the level of the sprain, or is it where the location on the leg?
I believe it is the location.
Okay. Because I could see it being both, but
I believe it's location. Your your high ankle, almost your leg.
Okay, and that's
because they were looking at was it a break? So
okay, but that's what makes it.
I don't know.
Then.
Ryan's the ankle hurt ankle expert, and we can't hear him. So
hold on. He keeps coming in and out, and so it may be his opportunity, but we'll see. We'll keep going, and he'll come through eventually, I'm sure. Better late than never. So we're building the anticipation.
All right, the Cardinals cut running back Eno Benjamin, and then he was claimed by the Texans.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, I think
Dameon
Pierce is still going to get a good
majority.
Not
worried about it. Starting him up.
Yeah, for sure.
The Bears placed running back Khalil Herbert on IR. He's going to miss a minimum of 4 weeks. He went down with his injury, and they declared him out like almost immediately.
Yeah, that's not
in the game, and
that's
then
not a good sign.
Yeah, placed on IR. So,
this, I think we'll get into it later, but this is deceptively, good. Like this might be a trap level good for David Montgomery, but there's a specific segment we'll talk about that. Okay.
Saints. Oh, go ahead.
Producer Ian came through with the research. High ankle sprain is of the higher ligaments above the ankle joint between the tibia and the fibula.
I was right.
Also, fun fact, to tell the difference between the two, the fibula is smaller because you tell little white lies that are fibs. So,
which one's in the front and which one's in the back?
I don't know which one's in front or back, but I know the tibia. I know the tibia is bigger than the fibula.
Okay.
So, fun fact.
Saints signed running back David Johnson to their practice squad.
Okay.
That is, I think, just for old fantasy days of past.
Yeah.
News. Just good to see his name pop up again.
Sure. Yeah. He's over 30, right? Like
has to be by now.
Yeah, I want to say he is.
Yeah. Running backs do not last long in this league. Cherish them while you got them. Ravens running back Gus Edwards returned to practice this week, while tight end Mark Andrews did not practice on Wednesday.
I don't know. Could be a likely game.
Yeah. If Mark Andrews is out there, you play him, but I don't know if I would wait around to find out.
Yeah. Also, some more research. David Johnson, exactly 30. Thank you, producer.
Oh no, that's kind of sad. He's only 30, and we're just like, oh well, he should have been out of the league years ago.
Well, that's how it be, I guess.
All right, and the Chiefs wide receivers are going through it this week. Wide receiver Mecole Hardman dealing with an illness to his abdomen, kind of mysterious. Been dealing with it now. Missed last game. Juju Smith-Schuster still in concussion protocol. We expect him to miss at least 1 week, if not more. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling did not practice Wednesday, dealing with an illness. So,
I think the only thing this is relevant for is Juju. And then also it frees up space potentially for Kadarius Toney to have another big game.
Yeah. Are you willing to start Kadarius Toney?
He was a waiver wire guy this week, we said. Or at least he was like 47.5 or something like that % rostered. I think if you have a Cooper Kupp, or if you have guys on bye like Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or even like Christian Kirk, he might be a guy you can put in and have a decent flex option in your team to plug in and seal the hole, so it doesn't leak too much.
Lots and lots of wide receivers on bye this week. Miami nailed that one. Seattle's on bye. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Tampa Bay's on bye. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. So quite a few.
Scotty Miller.
Okay. Yeah, Scotty Miller. So yeah, those 4 teams on bye this week. That'll do it for the news. Let's get into some DFS starts of the week.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
All right. So DFS Daily Fantasy Sports, we play it on FanDuel. If you guys want to join, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at FF Daydreamers. We will be posting the link if it's not already up. So go ahead and join us, and it's all for free. You don't have to put any money in. You can create a free account, come play for free. It's all just for bragging rights. Just to have some fun. Whether you're already guaranteed a playoff spot, so the adrenaline for you is in there week to week, or you're already out of the playoffs, RIP, and you still want to keep competing. This is a fun way to do that. So what you do is you pick a different team. They give you a budget, and they set prices for each player. And so you create a team using your budget. And so let's go over some picks that we think are good for this week.
Okay, I will go first. I got a running back in Devin Singletary, priced at $6,400. In the past 4 games, they have played. In the past 4 games, the Buffalo Bills have played. He has averaged 15.5 touches, and he is involved in the passing game. That's a thing that you love to see from a running back. Because PPR, those are some points for every reception. So that's great. They face a team that is ranked 31st versus the run in the Cleveland Browns. Not a good run defense. They are allowing 30 fantasy points per game to running backs, which is 8 more than the rest of the league per game. Singletary did have his first rushing touchdown of the year this past week versus Minnesota. Let's hope he can keep that momentum going because the Bills need to get a win to kind of stop the bleeding that is going on for them right now. They've lost 2, and it's kind of a turn the ship in the right direction kind of game for them. They can do that. I think the Browns, it helps that the Browns have allowed multiple touchdowns to running backs in 5 of their last 6 weeks. So even more reason for him to potentially find the end zone. He is a good value in DFS this week, and his matchup is great. So I'd say put him in your DFS for week 11.
I like it. All right, I got I'll go another running back here. Antonio Gibson, 6,600, right on that what each player would cost if
that average.
Yeah, average. There you go. That's the word. Average. Words are hard. Antonio Gibson, on the Washington Commanders, pass me a Heineke every week. Please give me that Heineke. Getting, finishing in the top 30 running backs the past 5 weeks every week. He might not be, the running back 1 or even a top 5 running back every week. But this week they go up against the Houston Texans, who are giving up the most fantasy points to the running back position, giving up the most rushing attempts, most rushing yards, most rushing touchdowns to the position. Pretty much you can run on the Houston Texans. And then Antonio Gibson's also the pass catcher there. So DFS is going to be full PPR. So I'm going to get the pass catching back and running back on the Washington Commanders. I also don't think Brian Robinson is a terrible pick here, just because you can run all over the Houston Texans.
And both of them will be involved. So
yeah.
First thing, I want to apologize for leaving earlier. I didn't want to talk about the Dallas Goedert injury. That's what happened there too. It's too hard. It's a little too painful. That was my bold prediction. He was going to get 1,000 yards. He was on pace for it. Now it's over. The DFS quarterback I'm going for, Russell Wilson. I know he sucks, but 6,900. He's going against Vegas, one of the worst passing defenses in the league. They let quarterbacks go off. Again, they let Matt Ryan, literally come out of nowhere and dominate them. So Russell Wilson also had his best game against Vegas. I like the matchup. I'm going cheaper quarterback here because I'm going one of the most expensive running backs in football with my next pick.
Can I just say I don't like it?
That's fair. Listen, I don't like
Wilson,
it either.
That's spicy.
Listen, I don't like it either. But I can't give you a 9,700 running back, one of the expensive running back, and not give you a cheaper quarterback option.
Fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
Be careful though. It's spicy.
Indeed. So, my next player, you all know how I feel about my next guy. He's my guy, my gridiron soldier, my sweet cheese, my main squeeze, my good time boy, my home slice, my fantasy fun time fella, my tight end friend, my amigo that I'll never meeto. It's Dalton Schultz, and he's getting results. It took a little time, but 5,900, by the way, in DFS. It took a little time, but the Schultz Express is chugging through Jerry's world and all over his opponents the past few weeks. He has finished as the tight end 3 this past week after he finally found his forever home in the end zone. He faces Minnesota this week in another big NFC matchup. They are ranked 22nd versus the tight end, and Schultz has the hot hand to lay the scorched earth on the white-hot Vikings. We still believe in Dalton Schultz, and he's a good value this week in DFS. So I'm coming for that.
Yeah, I know it's right. Ryan, are you getting scared here?
No, because Justin Knox having a 2-touchdown week this week.
All right, my next player is going to be T. Higgins, 7,600, going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who that pass defense, that secondary is not so good. Minka Fitzpatrick dealing with his abdominal issue. T. Higgins did not do good. The whole Cincinnati Bengals offense did not do good in week 1 whenever the Pittsburgh beat them. T. Higgins only had 2 receptions for 27 yards. And look, past 3 weeks, he's been a top 24 wide receiver. Jamar Chase still is not going to be here. I expect T. Higgins to be the wide receiver 1 here, have a chance at a touchdown and catch his, 5 to 7 passes for 70 yards. Try to touchdown. I'll take it.
He was definitely a guy that crossed my mind in our live stream draft.
Me too. All right. A guy who did get drafted by Keone, Saquon Barkley, 9,700. He's going against Detroit. I know it's a high price to play, but this guy probably didn't go off for 150 and 2 touchdowns. They don't have great receivers. The Detroit Lions defense is horrible. They're going to be run heavy. Vanilla Vic, Saquon Barkley, they're going to be filthy.
You just call him Vanilla Vic?
Saquon Barkley said it earlier. It was trying to be relevant.
I didn't hear it.
I
I
think
didn't hear it.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm not going to call him Vanilla Vic, but for Saquon Barkley in this instance, Vanilla Vic it's a good nickname.
That's funny. That's
I tried to get Saquon on my team. I couldn't do it. It's too expensive. But I guess if you go Russell Wilson at quarterback, that's how you do that.
Some sacrifices take the greatest, the wills.
All right, so that'll do it for our DFS starts of the week. Let's move on to some start sit questions.
You've got questions, we've got answers.
So go ahead and send us your questions on Instagram, Twitter at FF Daydreamers. Slide in the DMs. If you guys got questions, you heard the drop. We got answers. So first question, Rondale Moore versus San Francisco, the Hobbit, or Antonio Gibson at Houston?
I think this one is pretty tough because Rondale Moore, he has taken advantage of other players being out. He will continue to do so this week. First, it was Marquise Brown. Now it's Zach Ertz. In 5 of his 7 games this season, he has been targeted at least 8 times, and he has caught a minimum of 6 passes in those games. He is averaging just under 75 yards per game over those 5 games. So, before he may have been a lowly hobbit from the Shire, but now he's found his mithril sword, Sting, and he is slaying the competition. On the other hand, though, you have Antonio Gibson, who has a tremendous matchup versus the 32nd ranked run defense, as JJ mentioned earlier. He has been involved in the pass game literally in every game this season in some shape or another. He has a touchdown in 3 of the past 4 games and is averaging 14.25 touches per game over the last 4 games. Both have been really, really good, this season. But for this particular pairing, I'm going to go with the guy who has the better matchup, and that's going to be Antonio Gibson. So I'm going to go with Gibson, although for the record, I think you can start both.
If it's Colt McCoy, there's more room for Rondale Moore. You see, you can't have 2 hobbits working together. Lord of the Rings took all that power. That's why Kyler Murray and Moore are not a great duo. But Colt McCoy, a little taller. And so with Zach Ertz getting hurt, there's really only 2 options in the passing game. I'm going to have to go Rondale Moore.
Dang, a shift.
The man trusts in the Hobbit. What a time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Keone. You could start either of these players this week. Probably both good starts. Rondale Moore going to be a PPR guy. Lots and lots of receptions close to the line of scrimmage. The San Francisco defense is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's going to be a lot of points scored there. So you're really relying on receptions and yards there from Rondale Moore. Antonio Gibson, it could be a Robinson game. And, Antonio Gibson's going to get some work, but because you can run all over the Texans, their main running back is Robinson still. It's a tight one. I went with Antonio Gibson for DFS, so I'll go with him here. Antonio Gibson at Houston.
Consistency. It's good.
Yeah. But again, you can start both of these guys.
So in Ryan's analogy, by the way, he said a man to a hobbit. He says, "My friends, you kneel for no man." Boom.
All right, next question. Jacoby Myers versus the New York Jets or Cortland Sutton versus Las Vegas?
This is...
Keone, I want to give you your props on that. I was muted because I felt a cough coming on. And I didn't want to cough on the camera or cough on the mic, whatever. But that was great. Shout out to you.
I think it's also kneel for no one. Not, but anyways,
That's okay.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fact check this.
Yeah.
Well, in case they did, I'm the type of guy who'd be like, excuse me, he didn't say that exactly that way. Yeah. Anyways, this one is tough for kind of the opposite reason, where I can see not starting either of these guys. But let's just go through it. Las Vegas is playing like garbage. Josh McDaniels, who knows how much longer he has with this team, could be this year, could be maybe next year. I don't know, but he's not doing great. The team is not looking good. That defense is horrible, but so is the Denver offense. They're just as bad. It might help Cortland Sutton if Jerry Jeudy is dealing with an injury, but he's pretty much boom or bust, and his booms aren't even that great. So he is coming off an 11 target game, but it's just, I don't know if I can trust anybody on that offense, really. Myers is coming off a bye, and it's versus a divisional opponent. In the previous week, it wasn't that great, one of his worst games of the season, but otherwise he's been pretty consistent. And he had his second best game versus the Jets earlier this year. So with this, two guys that you're not really wanting to start either, I'm going to go with the consistency versus anything on that Denver offense. So I'm going with Jacoby Myers.
Well, I picked Russell Wilson, DFS. I'm going to pick Cortland Sutton for this award. I think Vegas is, I said award, I know, my bad. For this category and starting sit. Cortland Sutton, calling it now. He's going to be an award winner.
Oh, okay.
Maybe good or bad because I don't know the awards coming up. But Cortland Sutton's going to play this week and he's going to win an award.
Okay. All right. We'll be talking about him on Tuesday's podcast then.
Mm.
I'm going Cortland Sutton here as well. Vegas defense is terrible. He's a good player. He's on a terrible offense. He's a good wide receiver, though. I still believe in him. Jacoby Myers against the Jets. The Jets are just clicking right now, especially on defense. They're looking good. So I'll take the hopefully big play from Cortland Sutton.
If the Jets win, they could be top of the division.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big game for the Jets.
It is.
Dolphins on bye.
Yeah, it'd be more like it'll be a temporary probably lead of the division, but still they can say, yeah, we're at the top.
Right. You never know. Every Sunday is different,
Any given Sunday.
All right, last question. Tony Pollard at Minnesota Vikings or David Montgomery at the Atlanta Falcons?
So this is an interesting one because they're both dealing with the repercussions or ramifications, the ripple effects of injuries. This, I think, really, really depends on if Ezekiel Elliott is going to play or not. Because I think he was limited in practice, just like he was last week. But I believe Mike McCarthy said if he can play, he's going to. And so if that's the case, he's probably going to be the lead back in the game just because of how they use him, which sucks for Tony Pollard because, we've seen what he's capable of when he's let loose. See week 8 versus Chicago, running back 4. Week 10 versus Green Bay, running back 8. Both were over 100-yard games for Tony Pollard, and I believe both did not have Ezekiel Elliott. It's more than anything, he cuts into the workload of Tony Pollard, and that's what you don't want. Montgomery, though, faces a very enticing Falcons matchup that has been allowing 6 touchdowns to the running back position over the last 4 weeks. And I think he needs that to have a good game because he's certainly not getting the yards because the yards are being siphoned off by Justin Fields, who will probably be the running back 1 on that team, even though